Okay, so impact show today, and like I said, it's all about getting yourself into a better impact. Like we said, we could be in that situation where we're getting a little bit of early release, we're hitting a lot of high ball flights, if not fat ball flights, but not getting a lot of power. And because you've been doing that, you've all heard these videos and all these instructional things, and probably seen your coach about trying to get what we would consider lag or shaft lean so that you can get more compression onto the golf ball. Now that is the correct thing to do, but you could be finding a situation now that as you're working on that, you're hitting a lot of fades, you could even be presenting the hosel and hitting that odd shank, and you're not achieving what you're supposed to be doing. Now, is shaft lean and shaft lag correct? Yes, it is. We do want to have a little bit of pressure shifting onto our left side as we're moving into impact. We also want to be creating a divot pattern in front of the golf ball. So you're probably achieving a few things, but not getting the strike that you're looking for. So let's just look at it from this point of view, is if we are taking our backswing and we are working down into impact. Now, the one thing I will say before we actually get to what I would consider last parallel, okay, where your shaft is parallel with the ground and you're about to make impact on the golf ball, you do want to be making sure that you're achieving a flat lead wrist, okay? So your left wrist is nice and flat, if not slightly bowed. Either, I would prefer you being in that position. If you have a little bit of cup, it's going to make it extremely difficult to achieve the impact position I'm going to have to show you, because then you're going to have to do a lot of hand motion coming into the golf ball, and we don't want to get too handsy as we're coming into impact. So just make sure that as you're working down into what I would call last parallel, make sure that the knuckles are pointing down towards the ground, which will start to give you that sensation of a flat lead wrist. Now, there is a concept or an idea of what we're trying to achieve when we need to get to impact. Now, shaft lean is important and shaft lag is important if you want to hit it far. So let's highlight this. Let's grip down the golf club just a little bit further, so just towards the bottom of your grip, just like so. Take your backswing up to the top, and then again, bring that club down to what I would consider last parallel. Now at this point here, my hands would be directly in line with the golf ball. Let me just move backwards a little bit and put a golf ball down on the ground. So again, backswing up to the top, moving down into what I would consider last parallel. Again, you can see my hands are in line with that golf ball and the club is parallel, or the shaft is parallel to the ground. Now, if I would continue to move that handle forward through towards a golf ball, number one, I'm not going to achieve a lot of power simply because the fact there that the club face is remaining open, and I'm also, like I said, presenting that opportunity of possibly hitting the hosel and creating a shank. So when we do achieve last parallel and my hands are in line with that golf ball, you would have to then understand that the club head here needs to accelerate towards the golf ball. Now there's a few motions that need to happen as we're moving into impact. Number one, we've got that pressure shift onto our left side. We're starting to rotate the hip round, but then as the club head accelerates, you'll see that the handle moves back towards the arm and my left shoulder will rise. Now all those motions need to work together to achieve what we would consider shaft lean and a good effective impact. Now, a way that I sometimes think of it is if I was to then grab my handle at the top, or grab the golf club at the top, and then I'm going to place my right hand just below the grip. I think of it like playing hockey. If I'm going to achieve a good hit on the golf ball at hockey, I would need to get that hand, bottom hand, moving that club head towards the golf ball. At the same time, creating good rotation and a good lift with our left side. If I was to keep my weight on my right side, I'd make contact with the ground too early. If I was to drag that handle too far forward, I can't release that club head in the right time to actually strike the ball. So think of it like hockey. If you were to get a hockey stick and you need to slap that ball, you need to be releasing that club head at the right time into the back of the golf ball to make a good contact and get that compression you're chasing after. So like I said, it's more of a concept, more of an idea, something for you to practice at home to achieve what we would consider good shaft lean, good lag, as well as good release, so that you can transfer that power and get that compression onto the back of the golf ball. So again, just remember one last time, at last, what we would call shaft parallel, our hands are in line with the golf ball. At some point, that head does need to accelerate So just make sure as we're doing that, the left shoulder rises, our left arm stays nice and long, and the club head accelerates into the golf ball. So there's a good idea, a good concept, or a good plan to put in place if you're a person who was hitting weak shots when you were in this position, then trying to achieve that position, but then still finding that you're not getting the shots that you're trying to hit. Try and work that hockey puck kind style slap shot, and I'm sure you will start to get a much more effective impact, and you will start to get that ball hitting a lot further.